This is how I made my Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi cosplay. For reference, I am using his costume from The Phantom Menace. First, buy your fabric. I got mine from Joann Fabrics, unfortunately. Then, using a crude fabric pattern that I got from a bought Anakin cosplay, I am cutting out the basic tunic. Lay it all flat and pin it so that you can start sewing. Here's just footage of me sewing, so you know I'm the one actually doing it. As always, try to use a thread that is very close to the color of your fabric so that everything just looks neat and clean. Now I am hemming the edges so it's just a much cleaner finish. This part obviously takes forever, but that's okay. More ironing, more pressing, and then you're going to top stitch that all together. Now, with some very flowy fabric that I got from Fabric Wholesale Direct, I am making his Jedi robe. For this, it is not heavy at all. It is lightweight, and that's because where I live, it is just always hot, and a heavy robe would just make me uncomfortable, so I want the robe more for the aesthetic, not really the functionality. This one I'm also just kind of eyeballing a pattern so long as everything is even and it's flowy enough. Also, I was limited, I think I only had 2 yards of fabric to work with, so I was really cutting it close. Now you can see me here, I am laying it all out so we can see the basic pattern. Then pin it all together, and of course you will be sewing it. Yay, more sewing! Use brown fabric thread. Here I am making a hood, and admittedly this hood was not big enough, but again, this is more for an aesthetic, not really a functional robe. Maybe when I get more money, I will make an actual robe with good enough fabric, but until then, we're just gonna work with this. I was wearing Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi to a few cons in the spring and summer, and it got hot very easily. Pin that all together, and of course, sew it onto the robe. And this is the basis of the robe that we have thus far. So I have a tea bag because I decided I wanted the under tunic to be a little bit darker, and of course I didn't record all of it, but it only darkened it slightly. I definitely should have used way more tea bags, or maybe just used some kind of synthetic dye, because there was barely a difference that ended up washing out when I put this in the wash. So after the convention, I'm going to try to dye this a slightly darker color. So why didn't I get a darker fabric? Well, that's because it just wasn't there. I was hoping I could just dye it, and I simply did not take enough time to do a natural dye as I wanted to. But that's okay. I just don't want to show what my intentions were, even if it doesn't show up in the final result. And here, this is how I made the Padawan braid. I am using a long wig that I bought off a friend, and here I am just braiding all together. It's filmed like this because this was more for TikTok and YouTube Shorts, and I can't even remember if I posted this. I did this all the way back in March, and at the time of recording, it's December 24th. Recording this audio, I mean. So you can see here that I'm snipping off the end, and then I just tuck that end underneath a blonde wig that I bought. Who knows where I bought this wig. So here are the final shots. Thank you again, Jasmine from WonderCon, who got these amazing shots of me. I honestly love this cosplay though because it is just lightweight, easy to go around, and it's a lot of fun. It's easy to put it on and say, I'm a Jedi, regardless if it's Obi-Wan or not. Thank you, and hope to see you guys at some cons, and most likely I will still be wearing this because I love it a lot.